So it's 1:30, so let's go ahead and get started. So, hello Wasabicon. I hope you guys are having a great day today. I was here yesterday, all day on Saturday, just enjoying the con, and it was absolutely awesome. And so I'm super excited to be here today, just to be able to go over manga with y'all. Just a little bit about me. My name is Prophet Haku. I've been creating content on the YouTube space since around 2021 was when I started. So I've been doing this for about 3 years now, and it's been really just a fun kind of passion project for me outside of work. I actually live a little bit outside of New Orleans. I'm actually a public school teacher by day, and then I like to call myself kind of an otaku by night. But the kids love it. The kids love to geek out with me about all this stuff, so it's a lot of fun. But yeah, so in terms of me collecting manga, I actually started collecting manga in 2019, and I had been watching anime all of my life. Just something that really I grasped onto and I never let it go. But ironically, I never got into manga. I actually didn't even know manga really existed. And the scope of physical manga was very unknown to me as well. So I guess I'll just start off with a couple questions. So how many of you read digital only? You just read digitally? And that's okay if you do. I'm just curious. Okay, how many of you have at least one physical manga at your house? Okay, how about over 10? You have over 10. Okay, over 50. Okay, keep your hand up if I'm going up. Okay, over 100. Over 100. Over, yeah, right. That's half the battle, right? Over 250. Okay, over 500. Over 1,000. Okay, all right, good. So no, that's fine. So I actually have a little over 3,000 volumes at my place. No. That's nothing to talk about. I should be a good normal adult and invest in the stock market. But no. This is my investment, right? I actually, ironically enough, I have to have a 2-bedroom apartment just because the master bedroom is the manga library, like the manga room. I actually sleep in the guest bedroom, but yeah, I have a whole room dedicated to manga and figures and artwork. It's quite a masterful thing. Really awesome room. It's like one of my prized possessions. It has better health insurance than I do. I have a $40,000 policy on that room alone. So if you are interested in checking out that room and what's in it and my whole collection, I just posted a manga collection video on my YouTube channel 3 weeks ago, and so it's the most up-to-date thing if you want to check that out. But enough about me. Today is about unconventional manga recs for the adventurous reader. I pride myself in not being a shonen bro. I was a shonen bro, but I have seen the light, and I know I'm gonna get all the hate for it, but I love adventuring off into different kinds of manga because I think we've all experienced that anime and manga have such a wide scope, and there's so much to dive into with manga in terms of the different demographics and the genres and what they have to entail. And what I love about manga the best is that manga gives you the ability to try things that haven't reach the anime scope, or things that may never see the light of day just because of the content or anything like that. So today, for the majority of the things in that you see in front of you, most of these don't have an anime adaptation. All of these that I've picked out today are things that you can easily grab today. These are things that are in print. They are not out of stock or out of print. So these are things you can go home, go on Amazon, Books A Million, and buy them right now, which is awesome if you are interested in any of these series. I also did bring all these volume ones today. After the panel is over, feel free to come up. You can ask me questions. You can also flip through the books. I just ask that you're careful with them. Obviously, it's from my personal collection. But if you'd love to just kind of see what the art is all about, then go ahead, just go take a look at some of this stuff. But lots of great things in here, and hopefully there's a lot of things in here that you may have never heard of before. So let's get started here. Before we get started, I actually did this panel at Mississippi Anime Festival. I kind of do the circuits. I go around, and usually I have 2 different panels that I do every year. This is my second year doing panels at different anime conventions. And so when I did the Mississippi Anime Festival a couple months ago, that's when Akira Toriyama died. I personally have never ingested Dragon Ball, but I know Akira Toriyama from the Dragon Quest series. He did all the characters for that, and so he's does all the artwork for the character designs, and so that's how I know him. But obviously, huge influence on the manga scope, and so I just wanted to recognize him before we moved on. So let's talk a little bit before we dive into the recommendations. Today we're going to focus on manga demographics, not manga genres, and there's a big confusion between the two. And manga genres are things like mecha, magical girls, thriller, drama, stuff like that. So those are genres. And when we talk about demographics, that's how manga is divided in the Japanese scope. So there's 5 different demographics. We have josei, we have shoujo, we have seinen, we have shonen, and then we have kodomo, which is for children. And so today we're diving into the demographics, and you're going to see that I'm going to kind of give you a scope of what the demographics are and what the age target audience is, and then I'm going to give you recommendations. You're going to go, how is that possibly a blank? And then we will explain why that is. Okay, but that's the difference between the two. So let's talk a little bit about kodomo. This is the newest thing that I explored, and this is manga for children. And I'm not going to dive too much into this. For the most part, we are of an older audience, and so we like older content. However, what I love about kodomo manga is that it is great for all ages, and I have ingested several kodomo series, and I have thoroughly enjoyed all of them. So let's talk a little bit about kodomo first. So this demographic is all about fun adventures, talking animals, and comic mischief. Though these manga target children, their popularity is driven through their entertainment for audiences of all ages. And in the English manga industry, we don't reference it as kodomo. As many of you, this may be the first time you've ever heard of the term. When I researched this panel, that was the first time I've heard of this term. We actually call it just kids manga or all ages manga. So the 3 manga that we're going to talk about today, just really quickly, and by the way, none of these are, I'm never going to spoil anything. That's like a big thing on my channel. I never, ever spoil manga. So all these things today, I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis, why it's on this table and why you should check it out. So I hope so you can go into this not needing to run out with your ears closed or whatever. Okay. So the first one is Pokemon Adventure. Who here has played the Pokemon games before? Yeah, of course. I grew up. My first game was Pokemon Yellow, and then like my big game, the one that I like absorbed into, is Pokemon Crystal. And one of my students is actually playing Pokemon Crystal on an emulator right now. So every day they're going into class and they're showing me like the update on their team. And so we're like geeking out and they're like asking me questions, and I know everything about the game, so I'm like telling them everything. It's a lot of fun. But Pokemon Adventures, the manga, is really, really cool just because it's a different take on the Pokemon world. It's a lot more gruesome. There's a lot more character development. You're getting an in-depth look at a little bit of a different battle system and how the Pokemon interact with each other, and it's really, really fun. So if you have a younger person who loves the Pokemon games, this is a perfect gateway into manga for them. And I also like it because it's not the anime, and it's not like an adaptation. The manga is not adapted to an anime. The anime is its own thing. This is its own thing as well, which I really, really like. The next one that you'll see on the screen all the way there on your, I'm going to say the left, it's the girl holding the dog. It's called Yuzu the Pet Vet. And this is one that I just read a couple months ago, and I offloaded it and I sent it off to my friend Marguerite's manga to her kid because her kid was interested in reading it. And it follows this girl. She's in elementary school. She hates animals, and one day she is tasked with being a veterinarian assistant for her uncle, who is a veterinarian. And it's an episodic manga. It's only 36 chapters, 7 volumes long, but it follows this girl as she learns to love animals, and it also describes all the different kinds of situations you can be in with animals. What I love about this manga is that it teaches children how to deal with grief and depression, with loss of animals, how to treat animals with respect, all the different types of animals you may interact with. So there's birds, rabbits, dogs, cats, horses. It's very, very well versed in the animal culture. So I highly recommend this. If you are interested, if you love animals, this is a great manga to pick up because of what it teaches you. And that's what I love about manga. I love that manga is able to teach you things about what life is and what different situations and how to just get past them. And the last one for Kodomo is one that is really beloved in my heart, and this is Yotsuba. And actually, if this intrigues you, they have a complete set of Yotsuba, volumes 1 to 15, right now in the manga booth over there. If you are interested, I just saw it like literally before I came here, so I highly recommend you check this one out. But Yotsuba follows a girl, her name is Yotsuba. She's 6 years old. She's just moved to the countryside with her dad. And it's a slice of life episodic comedy manga through the perspective of this girl as she's journeying through life and just like what life is through the eyes of a child. And it is absolutely hilarious. It's super innocent, so there's like a lot of humor that appeals to both adults and kids as well, and the artwork is really, really fun. This is a laugh out loud manga for me, and it's one of the funniest things that I've ever read in my collection. And so this manga does not have an anime, and it has been serializing since the early 2000s, and it's still not complete yet. So I highly recommend this if you're looking for just a great, solid comedy series. So moving on, shonen. Shonen is a demographic that everybody knows and everybody loves. And when we think of shonen, we think of things like Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, Naruto, One Piece, those types of manga. And that dives into Shonen Jump. But now we're going to dive into shonen and the diversity of shonen manga and maybe some things that you may never have thought that shonen manga is. So let's just talk about a little bit about shonen. So this demographic is targeted for males ages 12 to 18, and it's the most popular manga demographic. Titles under this label top best-selling manga lists and have a dedicated readership of male, female, young, and old readers. Shonen manga can encompass many different genres such as mecha, mystery, sports, and comedy. So I've got 3 here for you, and the first one here is Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. And for those of you who may have tried out the anime for this, it sucks. Don't watch it. It is one of the worst things I've ever watched. I watched the first episode because I was just so excited. It's one of my top 15 favorite manga of all time. And I watched the first episode and I went, oh my God, this thing is awful. And then I watched the second episode because I couldn't fathom how a studio could just ruin something so special to me, and yet they really did it, so I had to drop it. But this is a 10-volume series, and it's by a mangaka named Satoshi Muzukami. And Satoshi Muzukami is what I like to consider like the forgotten stepchild of shonen manga. Nobody cares about this poor guy. He writes the weirdest things that nobody gives 2 cents to, but in terms of world building, he is one of the best to do it, and this is why I love Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer so much. But it follows our main character, this guy here on the back, and he's kind of going through a tough time, and he dives into this like secret world where it's like he's fighting these weird monsters that look like blobs. And every time he encounters a monster, there's like an extra eyeball on it. So it's like 1 eyeball, then 2 eyeballs, and 3 eyeballs. And then he gets involved with a talking gecko. And they are tasked together to fight the great enemy and defeat the common good with the biscuit hammer and try to stop the planet from being destroyed by this biscuit hammer. That's the shtick of the story. And I'm gonna leave it bare bones at that. If you're like, oh my God, this biscuit hammer fighting the common good, like it seems very shonen-y, and I agree with you, it is very shonen-y, but there's a lot of great world building and a lot of interesting character development. And the power system in here is one of the best. It's very, very unique and very different, and that's why I love this series so much. You get attached to the characters. Satoshi Muzukami does a great job with not showing a character off and then just killing them off, right? There's a lot of development here, and that's what makes this series so great. It wraps up well. It's a very conclusive ending, and it's a really interesting ending as well. It's not a manga that... when I think of shonen manga, I think of manga that just, you're following along and you kind of know how it's going to end, you know, power of friendship, blah blah blah, you know, but like this has some twists and turns and you're like, I really don't know what's going to happen, and I can tell you right now, you don't know what's going to happen when you read this manga, and it's really really fun to get to the end of this one. So yeah, this is in print right now from 7 Seas. This was out of print for quite a while, and they just got it back in print about a year ago. So if you are interested in this one, you want a different shonen series that kind of feels similar to a My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, then this is going to be the one for you. So now let's dive into a different kind of genre of shonen. We got horror, we have darkness. This is Takopi's Original Sin. This is a 2-volume all-in-one omnibus here. This does not have an anime adaptation yet, and it's really, really messed up. It follows this girl right here. She's in 4th grade, and life has really beaten her down. She, as you can see on the cover, she is not, the odds are stacked against her. One day she meets an octopus alien named Takopi who has a bunch of different like toys and like artifacts that do different things, and this alien's just trying to make her life a little bit better. That's his whole goal, is to make happiness, but it really doesn't succeed in the way that he wants it to, and that's what this whole series is about, and the twists and turns that happen with this alien and this girl. And what I love about this is the messaging in here and how simple it is to ingest a message. Who here likes like a very simple storyline that like is easy to understand? Who likes those type of series? That's me personally. Who likes a complex series where you have to really think about like what's going on? Okay, good. So we will not get along. So let's start there. I commend you. That's great, and I love that you can do that. Like for me, when I'm reading, I want something that's simple, and this kind of bridges that gap, which I really really like. What I like is that it's a very simple storyline with a really deep message, and it's not convoluted. And I can tell you the message, and it's not going to spoil anything, but I want you to use that as a way to see if you're interested in this series or not. And the message is this, that no matter if we talk about if children are innately good or bad, the circumstances that they're born into really shape the way that they turn into. And that's what the message of the story is. And it's really, really cool to see how that message plays out in such a simple but very interesting storyline with a very good conclusive ending. So yeah, I highly recommend this one. Just got released probably in January or February. So this is a solid one. And the last one is a weird one. This is called Aria the Masterpiece, and there is an anime for this one. Now, the anime was done by Nozami Entertainment, which is a studio that was created through Right Stuff Anime. Who here has ever who here knows of Right Stuff Anime or is shocked at them? Yeah, well, rest in peace. You know, Right Stuff is gone. I used to be sponsored with them, and they used to do a bunch of cool stuff with me, and then they like went kaput, and I was just devastated. But they were great. They did a lot of cool stuff, and one of the things they did was start a studio called Nozami Entertainment, and the CEO of Right Stuff loves Aria the Masterpiece. So not only did they create the anime for this, and they like put the money funding for it, but they also created these beautiful master edition reprints from Tokyo Pop, which is really, really great. But this series follows this girl right here, and it's set in a sci-fi utopian kind of Venetian city, and she goes down to this Venetian city to become an undine, or you know the people in Venice who do the boats, the big long boats? It's like that, like a tour guide, but they call them undines in this manga here. And it's a 14-volume series following her journey to become the best undine in the city. And what I love about it is that it's super chill and slow, but there's a lot. What this does really well are characters. Character development is the name of the game in this series, and it does a great job with being able to portray like what it means to be the best at something, and that's what this series does. And there's no drama, there's no craziness, it's just enjoy the world, enjoy the characters, and enjoy a very simple manga about being the best that you can be. So this is one of my probably top 3 slice of life manga of all time, and in these beautiful editions. So I highly recommend if you're looking for a shonen manga that's super chill. So let's dive into shoujo. When I joined the manga sphere, shoujo was not in my mind. Shoujo to me was fluffy romances and you know, stereotypical high school romances, and I just wasn't down for it. And it wasn't until one of my MangaTube friends kind of opened my heart and said, I think you need to try XYZ. And I started kind of diving into it. And then also, as somebody who's in the MangaTube sphere, I felt like I was doing a disservice, kind of like putting blinders on. So I started exploring this genre or this demographic a lot more in the past couple years. And I've really found some amazing things that I want to show off for y'all today. And what I love about shoujo is unexpected stories. And what I mean by that, it is not what you think it is, right? You do have the high school fluffy romance. None of these have high school fluffy romance. Well, one of them does, but there's a reason for it. But there are a lot of other things to this genre, to this demographic as well, and we're going to go over that today. The first one is one of my favorite ongoing series currently being published by 7 Seas. There are 4 volumes out right now. It's called My Girlfriend's Child, and this manga is about a 16-year-old girl who ends up getting pregnant. And it is a journey of this girl and her boyfriend as they navigate this world of teen pregnancy together. What it means to go through the pregnancy kind of the appointments and the doctor stuff in Japan. What the interesting dilemma of abortion versus keeping the child is in here as well, and all the family drama that also encapsulates having a teen pregnancy. And what I love about this manga specifically is, number one, it's an unexpected story. There is drama, it is crazy, it is interesting, but it also kind of dives into what teen pregnancy is from an emotional and educational standpoint. And I love manga that's educational. I love manga that's going to teach me something. And it's really interesting to see how teen pregnancy is viewed in Japan and what are the resources out there for people who get into that situation. And I love how respectful they treat that situation in the manga. It's very well done, and it's something that really kind of blew my mind into what I personally think should be in every school library in America. This should be something that should be in there so that people can read it and just know what their options are. And so that's why My Girlfriend's Child is a great, great manga. As somebody who doesn't read a lot of shoujo, this one's really, really good. All right, the next one is The Moon on a Rainy Night. This is a new series by Kodansha, 4 volumes, no anime adaptation as of yet. If you like, who here has ingested Silent Voice in some way, shape, the movie or the manga? Okay, who here has ingested A Sign of Affection, the new anime that just came out? So both of them involve a girl who is hard of hearing, and this one also dives into a girl who is hard of hearing. But what I love about this one, it's a music manga. So this girl is hard of hearing. She played piano and now she can't anymore because she can't hear. And so she's now into books, and she's going into high school, and she doesn't have any friends, and she makes friends with this girl right here, and it's their journey together as they fight through the disability and like just the standard of life for the girl with the disability. And what I love about this, just like My Girlfriend's Child, it treats the disability with a lot of respect, and it really dives into the emotional side of the girl who is deaf and like what she wants out of life and how she wants people to treat her. And you can tell there's a lot of research behind this because you really kind of can look back and go, oh, okay, I didn't even realize this was something that deaf people were like wanting. And so as an educator, this is really interesting for me to kind of use as a way to go, okay, well, you know, if I ever have a deaf student in my class, like this is how they would want me to interact with them, or like this is how I can approach this situation, especially as a music teacher. I teach band, by the way. And so, yeah, this is a really, really great manga if you're looking for something that also dives into, has a little bit of romance, friendship, slice of life, coming of age, but also respects disabilities really, really well. And the last one's a fun one. This is a 2-volume series. Kenka Bancho Otome Loves Battle Royale. This is based off of a video game. No, I have not played the video game, but I did read the manga, and this is like the weirdest like underground manga I've ever found, and it was really, really good. And it follows this girl right here who has a twin brother, and they look the same. And so the twin brother doesn't want to go to the high school that he's supposed to go to. It's an all-boys school because it's full of delinquents. And so this girl's a fighter, actually. And so the twin brother's like, hey, can you go to this high school in my place? So she goes on the first day, and then all these guys are beating each other up, and it's a battle royale, except that there's like romance involved because obviously she's a girl disguised as a boy. So you've got like the gender bender trope in here, and it's really, really fun. It's 2 volumes, so you can't. So when you think of a 2-volume harem series involving a bunch of guys and a girl, you're like, well, how is that possibly going to have any sort of good character development? But what I love about this is that from beginning, middle, and end, it's a very, very solid written story in terms of how these characters interact with each other and also how the whole manga wraps itself up. If you're looking for something like super turn your brain off, super funny shoujo with action in here, I like to think of this as the shoujo series for boys who like shonen, because there's a lot of action delinquent beat 'em up stuff in here, and so it's really, really fun with a great main character female as well. She obviously can stand her own ground, and so this one's a lot of fun. All right, let's move on to seinen. So seinen is what I like to say anything and everything. Nothing's on the table with seinen. Now we're diving into the adult demographics or targeted towards adults. So seinen, this translates to comics for young men and appeals to ages 18 to 40. It is similar yet very different to shonen, and the demographic explores more mature themes, older protagonists, and sometimes graphic content. And so I have 3 very different series here that we're going to talk about, and this is going to kind of be the first time you may go, well, how is that a seinen? And a lot of these demographics are based off of what magazine they're published in, and that's really kind of the only thing. So for example, Skip and Loafer, it's a slice of life, coming of age, high school friendship anime and manga. That is considered a seinen. It is not a shoujo. It reads like a shoujo. It's not a josei. It's even though there's romance in it, it is a seinen series, which is really, really interesting, and it's only because of the magazine it was published in. So take these demographics with a grain of salt. Just know that it's just because of the magazine they're publishing. So the first one we're going to talk about is from the godfather of manga, which is Osamu Tezuka. If any of you have read Osamu Tezuka works, we have Message to Adolf, and this is one of the most interesting manga series that I have ever read, and it got me really fascinated into post-World War II things in terms of like the Israelites and how Israel was formed, and the process of how people were moving around after World War II, and this does a great job. So, and hopefully this series kind of buys you into studying the history behind it. But this series follows 3 Adolfs. You have a Jewish boy named Adolf, a German boy named Adolf, and Adolf Hitler. And it's about their lives intermingling with each other through World War II, and the tragic stories that happen with all 3 of these Adolfs in some way, shape, or form. And it's really, really interesting. This is a historical fiction series, which means that it is obviously set in a historical point, so World War II, Holocaust, but it is fiction, so it's not a true story, because obviously Adolf Hitler didn't interact with 2 kids named Adolf. But what I love about this series is that it makes you see the tragedies of World War II and the Holocaust in a brand new light through these 3 different, through the 2 Adolf children. And it's really, really cool and interesting to see how Osamu Tezuka puts his own spin on this story and how he interacts with it. So this is from Vertical Comics, and it is 2 hardcovers. So it compiles 5 volumes total. So 5 volumes in these 2 omnibuses, and it's obviously old school artwork. So, you know, if you know Osamu Tezuka, you know, he was one of the first. So obviously everything's in the box, nothing too crazy, cartoony looking characters. So it's very text heavy as well. So if you're not into that, you may want to stray away from it. But if you're looking for something where you kind of like lay back and you go, whoa, this was pretty phenomenal, I highly recommend this series. It probably has one of the top 10 endings of manga I've ever read as well. So if you're looking for a good ending, this is one for you. All right. Next one is a more mature manga, so I don't recommend this to people who are under 18. This is called Sensei's Pious Lie, and it's an 8-volume series in these 4 omnibuses from Kodansha, and it follows this woman right here. She is a teacher, and she is a sexual assault survivor, and it's her journey trying to get over that sexual assault and dealing with as a victim with her assailant, and that person continuing to be in her life and surrounded with all of her friends and everything like that, and how they intermingle with each other. It's a really messed up series, but it's a really good look into the sexual assault and how people move past that, and the journey and the struggle that is involved with that. And what I like about this is it's very much introspective. As a male reading this, it was really, and I kind of had like a book club with several other manga tubers, and they were all females. And when I was talking with them about it, one of the things I said was, as a male, it's really interesting to see this other side and the fears that women have that I don't think about as a male, because it never really crosses my mind. But this manga does a great job of exploring all those different themes, but also puts it in a kind of a drama thriller kind of way. This is a very controversial manga in that some people really, really like the message, like myself, and some people hate the message. So if you're looking for something really kind of like avant-garde, very controversial, then this is going to be the one for you. This is, the mangaka, this is the ex-wife of Inio Asano, if anyone knows like Goodnight Poon Poon or anything like that. So if you're interested in reading something from her, then this is going to be the one here. And the last one is Maison Ikoku. This is by Rumiko Takahashi. Has anybody watched or read Inuyasha or Ranma 1/2 or Mao? Yeah, a lot of us have. So I'm currently reading Ranma 1/2 right now. Absolutely loving it. Probably one of my favorite shonen series of all time. As I read Ranma 1/2, I think to myself, how do people like JJK? Like, I mean, it's just like, Ranma 1/2 is fantastic. But Maison Ikoku is, I feel like, one of the more underground series from her, just because the manga adaptation is so old. It was done in the 80s, and also there's been no revamp, and Rumiko Takahashi isn't necessarily known for like romance series, and so this one kind of gets put under the back burner, and it's really a shame because this is one of my favorite series from her, and it's an older setting, so we have older characters, and it follows this guy who is in college. Well, first he starts off as a high schooler trying to get into college. He can't get into college, and he lives in this boarding house with a bunch of other tenants. They're all crazy and wacky and insane, and all of them are surrounded by this woman right here who's kind of the innkeeper of this boarding house, and it's all their daily interactions with each other in an episodic manner. What I love about Rumiko Takahashi is this. For those of you who are into older manga or don't want to explore a more established mangaka like her, just because it's kind of old school, let me put you onto this. In terms of character writing, Rumiko Takahashi is the best at it. Rumiko Takahashi is one of the best character writers in all of manga. She knows how to write characters who are interesting and different with fantastic personalities, who either can grind your gears really hard or can make you fall in love with them. And that's what I love about Rumiko Takahashi. What I also love about her is how the mangas, how her different series are written. So what Rumiko Takahashi does, she doesn't have these long expanding arcs where it's like 5-volume long arcs. She does this thing where she'll do like 5 or 6 chapter arcs. And so it's a great manga to kind of sit down, you read 5 or 6 chapters, you get a little story, and then it's a new story after that. So it's not like these little episodic 1 chapter things, but it's not full volume things either. It's a perfect balance for you to be able to read something on the fly and just enjoy it. So yeah, Rumiko Takahashi, Maison Ikoku is one of my favorites. This is from Viz Media. These are the new perfect editions. These are really, really beautiful releases. So I highly recommend you check out this one if you're looking for a really funny rom-com. I will say, trigger warning for this one, this does have the trope of misunderstanding. And for those of you who don't know what misunderstanding is, this is the trope where the male and female leads just constantly misunderstand each other. So if you don't like that, you may not like this one, but I can definitely get over it just because it's such a fun series. All right, we got one more here. Okay, Josei, the most underrated demographic in all of manga. Josei manga has been underappreciated in the manga scope, not only in Japan, but definitely in the US, for the longest time. And it's not until the last, I'd say 4 or 5 years that we've really started to see josei manga become a more prevalent thing in our US manga industry. So josei is a demographic that targets women 18 to 40. There are a variety of genres, but this demographic mainly focuses on historical drama, slice of life, or autobiographical. Low sales and a lack of interest have been contributing factors in not having series published in English. So a lot of times we see josei manga get digital releases but not physical releases because publishers are not willing to commit to publishing these series in English physically, just because of how if the series doesn't sell, they're going to be sitting on a lot of back stock. So if you are interested in how like the manga publishing industry works, I highly recommend you check out my State of the Manga Industry video. I've been doing it for like 4 years now on my channel, and it just shows like what the different publishers are doing and how the publishing industry works, especially through COVID and then post-COVID, obviously. But we've got 3 series here. So the first one, who here has seen Christopher Nolan's Inception? Yeah, so I think, what was it, 2009 was when somewhere around there where the series came out, or when the movie came out. So if you like Inception, if you like trippy, crazy sci-fi, then this is going to be the series for you. And it follows this guy right here. He wakes up in a hospital. He's a soldier, and he's remembering when he wakes up how they're used. This is set in a world where there is a pandemic called the sleep, and this disease kind of goes through the population, and you fall asleep, and then once you fall asleep, you never wake up again. And it's really, really kind of messed up. You're like in this like psychotic world basically when you fall asleep, and you die basically by like having like these torturous thoughts like in this dream basically. It's really messed up. But it follows this guy. He wakes up one day and the sleep pandemic has came back to the world. And it's up to him and this guy to solve the mystery of what this sleep is and how are they going to stop it. And what I really, really like is that it is a 6-volume series in these 3 omnibuses. So it's very, very short. The second one just came out, so the last one's going to be coming out in a couple months. So it's a very, very quick read. But what I love about it is that it doesn't read at all like a josei series. It doesn't have any romance in it. It doesn't have any fluffiness to it. It definitely doesn't feel like it's like targeted towards women at all. I like to think of it more like a seinen. It's pretty crazy. The world is really, really cool, and they shell it out well. There's not a lot of info dumping in here. They get a good balance of action and like info about the world. So if you want a really different sci-fi series, then this is going to be the one for you. This next one here is called Gap Papa, Daddy at Work and at Home. This definitely is a josei series through and through. It follows this guy right here. He is a kind of a stone cold worker at work. He doesn't like to interact with anybody, but at home he is the most doting father and husband to his wife and his child. It is in full color, and it is one of the most adorable manga that I have ever read in my life. I really like children characters in manga just because they're super funny and they're usually very well written, and this is no exception. The episodes are fantastic in here, and if you just want like the most heartwarming series, then this is going to be the one for you. It's really, really high quality and just something really fun to just sit down and read with like a significant other or with your child. And the last one here and then we will be done with the panel, is Blank Canvas, My So-Called Artist Journey. This is the only autobiographical work that I have here. It's a 5-volume series from 7 Seas, and it's an autobiographical work following the life, or I guess not the life because she's not dead yet, her early kind of journey of Akiko Higashimura and her journey to becoming a manga artist and a manga writer, and her experiences through art school and also with her teacher, her sensei, and what her sensei meant to her. And this is one of the most heart-wrenching things that I've ever read in my life, because of what this manga's messaging is about cherishing people that you care about, and no matter what the toils and turmoils of life, being able to reflect on what got you there and to be able to acknowledge and respect the people that helped you get to that place, and to not forget about like why you're there in the first place, and hopefully making you reach out to people that you may have not interacted with in a long time. I cried after I read the 4th and 5th volume of this. It made me sob, and it made me immediately call like my teachers that made me want to become a teacher and go, hey, I just want you to know I appreciate you so much. And so there's no secret to this at all in terms of what happens in the story. That's established from the beginning, but the journey of what this person had to go through and the messages in here are one of the most powerful in all of manga, and that's why I love Akiko Higashimura so much. If you like her works, Princess Jellyfish is another one of her series that she's done that has an anime as well, and it's really, really fantastic. So that ends this panel here. As you can see, there's lots of different manga that I've recommended that are really kind of off the beaten trail, lots of different things. And hopefully that you picked a couple of things up today and you're like, ooh, I kind of want to try that out. A lot of these things you can find online. If you're a scan person, you want to read the scan first before you commit to buying it physically or digitally. But there are lots of great apps out there. I'll leave you with this. Manga has so many things to offer, and I hope that this year, as you continue on your otaku journey, that you are interested in trying new and different things and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, because coming from me, I can tell you right now, I have dived into everything and anything, and I'm so glad I did. I didn't put any sort of constraints on myself. So if you have any questions or anything like that, you can come up and see me after. If you want to check out any of these manga here on the table, feel free to. But thank you so much for coming to the panel. This is the largest turnout I've ever had for a panel, and all the cons that I've done, so that's awesome. I hope you have a great rest of your day at Wasabicon. So yeah, enjoy your Sunday. Thank you. Yeah.
Going back to the are you aware of any like workbook manga for like toddlers?
For toddlers, I would probably say the Yotsubo one is best. That's a really easy manga for your child, like a toddler, to ingest, because the artwork is super simple and the scenarios are something that they can really relate to. So yeah.
Do you know anything like, I know with a lot of toddler books here, they're printed on like that thick cardstock. Do they have any manga that's printed?
I don't know. I couldn't answer that for you. I don't think so, because we have obviously the picture book industry, and I don't think manga publishers are even interested in even diving into that. So I would say I've never encountered one before. So yeah, that's. But a lot of the libraries have the hardcover manga, which is always really nice. So yeah.
That's what I'm taking pictures for, to get my school librarian to try and order some of these.
Oh yeah. Oh for sure. Yeah. There's a lot of this stuff
like,
that's
like this one.
This one would be good. I think Message to Adolf would be great too. I always said if I ever teach teach English in school, like instead of like doing what like the novels and stuff, I'm having my kids read that. Like
absolutely.
what a great, or a social studies unit or whatever on World War II. What a great unit that would be on. And they're reading a graphic novel, so they would enjoy that a lot. So yeah.
Which one? I came in a teeny bit late. Which one was like the My Hero? What's that?
Oh, it was where was it? The one that was more Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer.
Okay.
Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Yeah, if you want something different from your typical Shonen Bro stuff, Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer is going to be
I will say it was a good panel because I actually learned something, because I didn't even know that Kodama was like one of the demographics.
I did not know either. So yeah, no, it was something that I learned because we don't dive into that that much, and so yeah.
Especially over here,
I
most of it
remember
is.
watching
It's only recently that
Oh,
I got Jose.
Right, exactly. And then forget Kodama, but we just don't. I mean, you see all ages manga all the time. You just never think of the name of
Everything
it.
is
So.
a specific thing.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
One other question.
Yeah.
What's your YouTube channel?
Profitaku.
If you can't remember that, it's on the schedule.
I'm on the website and everything. Yeah, so I got all my social handles there if you want to check me out. Yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to get Ben to watch Sound Euphonia. I
Oh
got
yeah.
addicted to Sound Euphonia.
Oh yeah. The third season's just came
Yeah.
out, so there's six episodes. I watch it with the North Shore assistant band director, so we do it together. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we tried to get him to watch it, and I'm the one who got him hooked on it.
Oh, it's
Like,
great.
It's so good.
It's phenomenal. Yeah.
Do you have any specific sites you use to look when you're purchasing manga? Like, to look to-
So right now, I purchase all my manga online from Mary Manga Company. Mary Manga
Do
Company.
they have like a really wide variety?
So how it works is you basically place an order with them, and then they order it. And then, Merry. Mary,
that kind of-
yeah, Mary Manga Company. How it works, you place an order with them, and then they order it directly from the distributor, and then they'll get it, and then they'll send it to you.
And then they usually get it in like super good condition.
They have the best customer service by far. I personally have worked with Carl, who's the owner of the company, and he is fan-freaking-tastic. They are like my number one place to buy manga right
You
now.
know, when you brought up Mrs. Adolf, I haven't read that one, but I don't know if you'd be interested. But did you know they have like a Kickstarter recently to celebrate him?
Oh yeah, they
This was the one I was trying to
yes. One of my friends actually picked that up.
I did too. I got. The
How
full
is
collection.
it, by the way?
I
Is it cool?
I haven't had a chance.
Did
to
you
really
like flip through it
unpack
at all?
yet.
Like at all?
I looked through the extras it came with, but I haven't had a chance to really
to
flip through
to
it
flip
yet.
through it, yeah.
But I was really interested in that. I didn't know that he did Astro Boy.
Yeah, yep. So he did Astro Boy. I haven't read Astro Boy, but I have all the manga for it.
I haven't read it either.
I have
I
the
played
small pocket.
I played the PlayStation 2 game.
Oh, nice. But yeah, no, one of my friends picked it up on YouTube, and he was like, because he's a big Osamu Tezuka fan, so yeah, I've really been interested in picking that up.
You said one of these was made by Singles made Princess Jellyfish?
Oh, yes,
That was the last one, right? Yeah.
Blank Canvas. Yeah.
That got my intrigue more than anything else.
Yes, yeah, and that's why I almost brought Princess Jellyfish here as the example, but then I was like, you know what, let me bring this one, because I know nobody's heard of
Princess
this,
Jellyfish
but
is that
everybody...
weird category where more people know of it from people talking about how good it is than people that have probably read it.
I'll be honest with you, this is better than Princess Jellyfish.
Ooh, that got
Which is a crazy thing to say, but I loved that series.
I have a question. Originally, I was going to ask you about your take on all the webcomic stuff and everything.
This was,
But I saw you had that
slightly about this when we
Oh, about
Solo
manhwa? Yeah.
Leveling and
Yep.
Mr.
So
Viewpoint. So my question now is,
I really want to read that one.
because I find it hard for a lot of stuff, but for a lot of the webcomics, I find it hard
Oh, I
to keep up with
Oh,
news
look,
about
look,
what's
I like
happening. Is there like a really good site?
That's the one.
I was so confused when I was looking at the photos.
Are you
on the site.
talking about like things that are like currently
What
being
context
published
does it
like
keep
on the
up?
Webtoons app, or like you're talking
Not
about
necessarily
physical
webtoons.
like
now
publishing?
I use some knockoff of Manga because but I do have their new thing. I have Tapas, I have Webtoon,
Yeah.
so I try to support
Right.
the authors like
Sure.
how I can.
So,
I don't have
This
money to
is
buy
this
four
is how
pieces.
right. This is how I think of it. So like manhwa for me, like I'm very new into manhwa as well. Like I wasn't very a manhwa person. The way that I kind of organize like what I want to read and like what I want to check out is through Ize Press. So they're a publishing company that publishes manhwa physically, and they only publish really good stuff. So that kind of helps kind of guide like what I should be reading, whether it be online or I pick it up
I've read
physically.
some small stuff, and I have some.
Because there's so many, as you know, there's so many. So that's how I kind of guide my thing is Ize Press, IZE Press. I just know if they're going to release something physically in English, I know that it's something worth checking out.
What was the one that you said was made you cry and stuff?
Oh, Blank Canvas.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, this one made me sob. Yeah, this one.
I'm sure. You ever heard of To You the Immortal?
Yep.
Yeah, that-
Dude,
that
actually,
one-
you know, you
that
said
one
okay.
made you cry like 5 times
I
in the first
literally
20
just
chapters.
sold. I just sold my set on Friday. I read the first 12 volumes. 10 out of 10. Masterpiece. 10 out
Oh,
of
yeah,
10.
it's amazing.
From volumes 13 and 18, it is a dumpster fire.
It falls
Oh,
apart.
it's awful. Oh, it is one of the worst downfalls of a manga I've ever read in my life. It is shocking how bad it is. So, like, yeah, the first 12 volumes, the first 2 seasons of the anime, peak. It's amazing. Third volume, like season 3 of
Anime
it,
really
yeah,
makes up stuff sometimes.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
like I think they did a big time skip with air here. And if you read the manga, it actually built like that between that OVA
Yeah.
and then the actual for the 25 episode anime they did. They skip so much content from the manga.
Right.
You don't know.
Well, that's why I just stick with the manga. So,
Yeah, I actually got into it, I think, from Leaps and stuff, but I spread out. I found stuff like Eye Shield 21,
Yeah.
which was I wasn't really into a lot of sports manga, but but that one was really good, and that one spread me to other stuff. Right now, I'm reading a manga called Infinity.
Yeah.
About fencing. Kind of cool.
Dude, that's awesome. That's what I love about
Hey,
it.
excuse me, guys.
Yeah.
I don't care if you guys are here. Is it alright if I start sending my?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are
yeah.
good. Hang out. I just have to get because the computer's kind of slow.
Yeah.
So I just have to get it going.
Let me unplug this and then
Is
I'll
HDMI yours or?
No, it's the
Thank
comms.
God.
So yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
thank you. But yeah, no, you guys are good. Take your time. do what you
Absolutely,
gotta
yeah,
do.
I'll scoot
I
over.
just
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to
yeah.
get it.
Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Do you want me back to help you?
Oh, 2-year eternity.
It doesn't matter who's up with me.
Yeah. That was a disaster. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Have you heard of a series called Angel Densetsu?
Angels and what?
Angel Densetsu?
No, I